Hi, welcome to the Cardio 360 video series of Dr. Jaitly on MuniMeterHealth.com via YouTube and Facebook channels. I'm glad I'm back after my huge, successful India trip where I launched in person the MuniMeterHealth.com, my website, on four various major metro cities, including some institutions and hospitals and colleges, etc., etc. Good to be back, nice home and safe. Still getting off the jet lag. It's a 10-hour, 12-hour difference between one coast to the other. Obviously, it's a long flight. I was reminded on the flight of a condition called economy class syndrome, and I decided to present that one of the first videos as soon as I landed here. So let me briefly tell you what economy class syndrome is. That classically occurs resulting from a sitting in a tight coach-like economy seat, if you will, on a long air travel, just like what I just did returning back from India, with not much leg room, unfortunately. So that's one of the things that commonly lets the person sit within the seat, within the coach seat, if you will, with not much movement around the legs, specifically in the areas of your lower extremities down to the ankles and calves. So the other predisposing factors that may also be involved are dehydration, which tend to occur commonly because people don't tend to drink water, they don't want to go to the bathroom that often, etc., and they tend to fall asleep, don't move around. And then, of course, changing cabin oxygen contents. Sometimes the air pressures are low, or the humidity is uncertain, or not disfavorable. All of the above result into a deep vein thrombosis, right here as shown on my right panel. So anywhere these femoral veins, and these are popliteal veins, and these are tibial veins, and then dorsal pedile veins. So commonly it's the popliteal and the deep femoral veins which are involved, which result into deep vein thrombosis as a result of a chronic stagnation that occurs over a period of time of these long 12, 14-hour flights. Specifically, so if the person is not moving around and he or she's got a predisposition, either because of a varicose veins, where the veins are all lacking some valve function, there is already a predisposition swelling here, and or the other conditions like heart failure, for instance. Patient has some element of heart failure or some other cardiac condition, which results into a stagnation of blood circulation within the system. That would result into a deep vein thrombosis highly. Now, obviously, prevention is one of the best ways, but early recognition is very important. Normally what happens is the person gets off the plane or towards the end of the flight starts to notice that one leg is more swollen than the other. And classically it's unilateral, but it can occur bilateral also, just so that you know. But unilateral is one of the common swellings that result into DVT. And as a result, the person must seek medical attention. Now, there are studies that one can do, including the venous Dopplers or the DEXA studies, etc., to prevent or to define if there is pulmonary embolism, etc. So all of these studies will be helpful, but nevertheless, prevention is still the best cure. And how do you prevent that? Well, one of the things you have to do is start moving around in the cabin as soon as the seat belt sign is off. Start hydrating well. Make some trips to the bathroom, if you will. That'll mobilize you. Avoid some caffeine and alcoholic beverages, which are again freely available, unfortunately, on these flights, and you have to really cut back on those beverages because they make you dehydrate and not hydrate. That's a common myth. People think, oh, by the way, I'm having caffeine, I'm having these alcoholic beverages, I'm hydrating well. You're not hydrating too well. You're actually dehydrating. The kidneys are sensing as more of dehydration than anything else. Start doing some pranayama yoga exercises, which if you are familiar with, you can do some rapid breathing exercises with sitting within the chair. Now that helps mobilize the blood much better from the lower legs. Stretch exercises will help. If you can get up and just walk within the aisle and there's enough room there, you could just do some stretch exercises. Just flex or extend your legs alone within the seat if you can get up. and that itself will help mobilize the blood across back into the heart. So the whole idea is wanting to see if this circulation, as you see in the legs, starts moving. Because remember, these are your peripheral pumps here, the calves. And these calves are idling for those 13, 14 hours if you do not move. You're sitting in a long non-stop flight, for instance, which I took. And so keep moving things around. Normally just walk up to the back of the plane, pick up a newspaper, start reading something, come back, or do move around within the cabin for any reason that you can. Make some friends, start talking to people out, across the aisles, and move around your legs. So that really helps a great deal and prevents this economy class syndrome, we call it. Now remember, it's not just restricted to economy class. It was originally defined in the economy class because the seats were the tightest, or there was hardly any space, as you see in the economy class or coach class if you travel. But it's also prevalent in business class, and it's prevalent in first class as well. If you don't move around, anything, regardless what class you're sitting in, your legs are, if they are immobile, you're prone for deep vein thrombosis. So period. So that's, but it's commonly called economy class syndrome, but it could be any class syndrome, I would call it. So having said that, the prevention is the best cure. Now understand that the treatment is just like any other DVT, and therefore prolonged course of anticoagulants are necessary, which may last anywhere between 3 to 6 months, depending upon what the venous results subsequently are and how good your INR has been throughout your treatment plan. And of course, I refer you for deep vein thrombosis, more details into another video, which is part of my Cardio 360 video series on MuniMeterHealth.com. I thank you for your attention. Hope you learned, and please continue to watch, share with your loved ones and your friends and family, because this is certainly a preventable disease and it should be avoided, especially now that we are traveling non-stop flights from one corner of the earth to the other. Okay, thank you so much for watching MuniMeterHealth.com. That is brought to you via Facebook and YouTube. I appreciate your attention. Thanks so much, and looking forward to seeing you again for more videos coming up now.